Am I the jerk for not allowing my ex-husband's new girlfriend to take some of his mother's jewelry? Original post. I'm 43, and my ex-husband Alex is 41. We were high school sweethearts. We started dating in school, got married when Alex turned 19, and after 20 years, we divorced. It's been almost 2 years since then. We have a wonderful daughter, Mila, who is 10 years old, and she handled our divorce well. Alex and I still maintain a great relationship. The divorce process was peaceful, and we remained good friends. Although we don't spend time together, we don't argue and always help each other, since Mila's well-being is our main goal. Both of us have already entered into serious relationships with other people. His girlfriend, Megan, who is 45, is a wonderful woman, and they are a great match for each other. We've never had any conflicts, and I enjoy spending time with her when we gather together for holidays and important events. Everything was calm until last week. This summer, Alex's parents passed away within a month of each other, which was a shock to all of us. Despite our divorce, which happened 2 years ago, they continued to consider me part of the family, and I loved them very much. At that time, Alex and Megan were not yet in a relationship, so she never met them, which is very unfortunate. They were wonderful people. Here's a bit of backstory that I think is important. Last week, Mila received a package in the mail from her aunt, who was handling the distribution of my late mother-in-law's jewelry among the children and grandchildren. The jewelry collection was vast and included both costume jewelry and expensive pieces. I told Alex about this, and he explained that I would also receive some of the jewelry, so he would come over to go through it with me. Megan came with him, which was perfectly fine. The situation was heavy, and we were both very emotional, so I was glad she was there to support him. This is where I start to think I might have done something wrong. While sorting through the jewelry, we set aside some cheap costume pieces for Mila to wear now. I chose a few rings, a necklace, and 3 pairs of earrings for myself, knowing that in the future they would go to Mila. Alex and I agreed that the rest of the jewelry would be stored in a safe at my house, to which we both have a key, and it would stay there until Mila is older, and it would all go to her. Among the set-aside jewelry was a beautiful set of ruby and diamond earrings, and a necklace, which had apparently been passed down to Alex by his grandmother, and is obviously very valuable. Megan admired this set, commenting on how well it would go with her wedding dress, even though they are not yet engaged, or with one of her outfits for date nights. Alex didn't respond to her comments, and when she put the jewelry back, I wrapped it up again and placed it in the safe with the rest. Since then, Megan has texted me several times, asking if she can borrow the jewelry. At some point, she accused me of wanting to keep it for myself, reminding me that Alex and I are divorced, and I have no right to keep these things. She also claimed that after their wedding, the jewelry would become part of their marital property, and that I'm just delaying the inevitable. I don't plan to wear it according to our agreement with Alex. I will only use the pieces I chose for myself, and the rest will stay locked up for Mila. I have no intention of opening the safe without a reason, and if that need arises, I will certainly inform Alex of what's happening. Alex remains silent, and I haven't mentioned anything to him either, to avoid conflict that could affect Mila. Am I really in the wrong for not allowing Megan to take some of the jewelry intended for my daughter? No. The jewelry passed down to your daughter from her grandmother never belonged to her father, and therefore cannot become part of their marital property. This jewelry is not yours to give or lend. It belongs to your daughter. I suggest leaving a note in the jewelry box explaining that the contents belong to Mila and were inherited from her grandmother. If something unforeseen happens, there should be no doubt about the ownership of the jewelry. If Megan continues to bother you, I recommend forwarding her messages to Alex. Take photos of each piece, from costume jewelry to real valuables, and make a detailed list. It would be wise if both you and Alex signed a document with these photos and the list attached, confirming that the jewelry belongs to Mila. Inheritances are usually not included in marital property, and the belongings of your children and ex-wives are not part of it. Megan's greed and persistence are astounding, especially considering that she isn't even engaged to Alex yet. I hope he makes it clear to Megan who she is dealing with. Her assertiveness is a serious red flag, and I hope your ex-husband sees that. Her greed is simply out of control. It's obvious she is willing to steal from a child, and I hope your ex-husband notices that. Place the jewelry in a bank safe and give an extra key to a relative. Megan might try to convince Alex to take the jewelry, but it should remain with your daughter. Her audacity knows no bounds. And here's an update. Many of you asked for another update, so here it is, briefly. Yesterday, Alex took a long lunch break and came to my house without Megan. I explained to him why I tried not to bring up this topic, but at the same time, I was tired of the constant pressure about the jewelry and firmly believe that it belongs to Mila, not to anyone else, especially not Megan. He immediately agreed and was shocked to learn that she had been asking about it. When I showed him her messages, he got angry. I felt it was right to meet in person and give him the opportunity to see the correspondence himself, so that Megan couldn't accuse me of falsifying anything. It was hard to see him so upset, and I have a feeling things will get worse, because according to him, Megan will soon be out of his life. In any case, she will no longer be allowed into my home, and will not spend time alone with Mila if they don't break up. Yesterday morning, I also opened a safety deposit box at one of the local banks. It's not the bank I usually deal with. At the moment, my name is the only one on the documents, and I am the sole key holder. I was worried that Megan might gain access to the jewelry if it were kept at home, and until this matter is resolved, it gives me peace of mind knowing she won't be able to reach it. Alex and I discussed this when he arrived, and he fully agreed that this is the best way to protect Mila's inheritance. All the jewelry, except for the one piece I chose, was also placed in the safe. And while I would like to wear a couple of other pieces in memory of my mother-in-law during difficult times, I prefer to know they are safe, and I still have one piece that brings me great comfort. All the documents will be notarized and should be ready by the end of the week, when I have an appointment with a lawyer to clarify the next steps to ensure Mila receives the jewelry without any issues. I spoke with the aunt, who sent everything over the weekend after my post, and the many suggestions I received. Thank you all. And I asked her to send copies of all the related documents, as well as a statement from her as the executor about what was sent and to whom. I didn't mention the problems with Megan, as it's not my business, and I'm leaving it to Alex to decide whether to inform the family or not. Today, I have an appointment with a certified GIA appraiser to take everything to the lawyer, as well as photos and videos of each piece of jewelry that I took last night. I'm still considering the idea of a trust, as the best way to protect Mila's interests and assets. But I'll wait to hear what the lawyer says and go from there. I feel very sorry for Alex. He is a wonderful person, and although our marriage didn't work out, I still care about him and always will. He's not only the father of my child, but also one of my best friends, and I want him to find someone who will love him as he deserves. It's just that whoever does that needs to understand that Mila will always come first, and Alex and I will always work together to ensure she is happy, healthy, and successful in life. No relationships we have with other people will stand in the way of her well-being. Thank you to everyone who commented and offered so much helpful advice and support. I truly appreciate it, more than I can express in words. I didn't expect this to resonate so much, and honestly, it's really overwhelming. I might not update or add anything more on this matter, so thanks again. It seems you and Alex work wonderfully together for Mila, and she will grow up surrounded by love. This was my response to reasonable people. How nice. The father of my children passed down a few things from his grandmother to me, and they are securely stored in a safe under my name. No one but us knows about it. Unfortunately, his relatives are terrible, so we have to take such precautions. People can be awful, which is why I prefer working with animals. Try to find photos of his mother wearing the jewelry and record all the good memories of Mila's grandparents. It might be wise to print and store some files on an external drive, like a flash drive. Write about when you first met his parents, the pleasant moments with them, how you announced the pregnancy, and that it would be a girl, how you chose Mila's name, and what her birthday was like. If you have any of Mila's first things given to her by her grandparents, put them in the box too. Add recipes for dishes that her grandmother especially loved to cook. They don't have to be originals, but at least one special dish. Ask the aunt if she has an old tie or shirt of her grandfather's that he often wore. If possible, add a video where you talk to Mila about these people so that later, in 10 or 15 years, you can watch it together. Add photos, and on the back, write memories, or at least captions. Share everything that made them amazing, and how they will love her and her father forever. Mention the times, the smells, the people who were around, as well as those who weren't yet born, and possible future events, both good and not so good. Tell her about Kennedy, the late 90s, the moon landing. I'm sure her grandparents had something to say about it. Share everything you know. This way, Mila will receive not just jewelry, but all the love that stands behind it. Children's clothes, her grandfather's tie or shirt, photos, recipes, and your memories will create a complete picture, and she will gain much more than just jewelry.